I am, yes, back. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I am
Yeah, we
here.
were thinking of asking there's this one person's stratagem on the team server. We were thinking of maybe asking them for League, but North responded first. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well.
I don't know if they'd be able to play League though.
Green screen. How do I make myself not invisible? This is the problem of our times. So now you all get to see the silly hoops I have to jump through to get even the very low quality of green screening that I already do have. Oh dear. This is just gonna be like that today, huh? All right. Well, that you can't see how bad it is, I think, from the stream, and that's good enough for me for now.
Well, it's close enough. It gets enough of it covered. It's fine.
Alrighty. Hi there, Shield Shredder and Koru. Oh my goodness, everybody's just piling on in.
Hello.
We got Devi and Shield Shredder and Koru and Rubber and Royal Fishy Fish and Banky. Proper greeting etiquette. Switch to human school. Oh goodness. Oh, I almost knocked the TV remote off. Okay. Man, I was just talking about films in my personal Discord, talking about one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life, but that's a story for another time, I think.
No.
Man, they just. It makes me sad sometimes when I see like a media property that is so bad that it makes me realize that people were not smart when they made that.
Sometimes it be like that. People just don't be doing smart.
And I
sometimes.
want people to be smart because that makes life better. Anyway. And hello, North, of course. So I am getting the, oh hey, look, I've got the sparkles behind me now, and that means that now I have to fix the, chroma key, which means I'm going to start chroma keying out myself a little bit. Or not. I guess it's just decided to work today. Neat. Hi, no pun Nintendo.
Hello.
And Tanya, hello.
Hello.
Just classify them as holiday sparkles. Yes, of course. This is the freshly fallen snow. It is. I hold on. Let me check. I think there's snow outside. I literally haven't looked outside today.
Is there really?
It's all cloudy here in Arizona. It's nice.
Okay, yeah. There's a nice acceptable level of snow out there. It's not so bad that it's going to just hold everything up for a long time. This is a really aggressive comp. Zones. This is not my wheelhouse, but I'll try playing a slightly longer ranged weapon here. Just
Wait a second. Splat zones for league battles is Squid School?
I know
Not
the concept.
clams? That's crazy. Truly a momentous occasion.
Man, I do not know what this weapon runs, so I'm just going to stick with the basics
Wait.
I've got already.
North is not in the league room, but they're in the VC.
Oh, this is Koru.
Beyond Destroyer. This is
Okay,
Koru.
hold on. We said we were gonna bring in North
Wait a
for
second.
this.
Get out of here, Koru.
Boot.
Get out of here. That's funny.
We're gonna try that one more time.
Access denied. Rejected.
Whoops. North is still a frontliner, so we still have the same issue here, but we'll run it this way.
But the chosen ones, that's right. Chosen ones may enter.
The chosen ones. That's great wording, Debbie. I love that. I'm watching you. Talking tower control in Splat Zones. Yeah, we always play a little bit of League before we get into the VOD review, which gives people a little bit of time to figure out, oh, hey, there is a stream that is happening. And also, no, that's the primary reason. I don't know why I'm saying also. Oh, okay, so North is going to gloog. You got it, a gloog. Still doesn't paint very well, so I'm going to switch over to probably this. And we'll stay there. Yeah.
They just swapped to
Oh,
tri-slot.
okay. In that case, we go back. And we want this, I believe, is what we were running, and this, and... Yeah, okay, we're good. Hugo is the Hydra. That is Debbie's name for the Hydra Splatling. Hugo's red. Debbie the Enforcer. Hi there, kitty.
Let's go. Don't want to taste the wrath of Hugo the Hydra. That's such a powerful statement. Face the wrath of Hugo the Hydra.
You've got a good deep voice. Goodness.
I did a lot of singing.
Yes.
I've done a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
of
that's
singing
true.
before.
That makes a lot of sense.
Like, that, and I play a lot of D&D where I do voices for 10 hours, 20 hours every weekend. So I've gotten a lot of experience.
My vocal strength comes from TOing. It's a different kind, but it is still a good source of that. There's someone over here? Okay, not yet, but there will be. Somebody living in the city out there. Well... that
no.
wall did not go where I thought it was going to go. I just locked myself in. No, that's not true. I locked them in with me. That's a good way to put it. Okay, so the drop should be fine, so we can start pushing out here. I'll throw that up in front, and that will probably help against some of the stuff they're going to do. Here's some armor.
I got ink chip.
Good job. There are two on left still. I'm going to try and hold this. Oh, someone came from mid. Got me. Wasn't looking at a bomb. So left side might be compromised here. There are two coming in from there. Watch the ramp.
Oh, there's one on bike.
There's one on our ramp. Nice. Way to flush him out there. Gonna throw this over here, and then let's
That's a
start
terrible chicken
pushing
jump.
in towards the point.
Oh no. I traded though.
One around the corner. Oh, okay, I need to jump out. Down. Good jump out, Chibi. Watch out for bombs against the wall that's behind you. I threw that really close to you guys. There, that's better. Nice.
Got one.
Ooh, one really weak
Oh,
on
no.
zone. They fell. Beautiful.
Nice.
Okay, now I've got my armor to help us resist their pushback.
Ooh. One on our bike.
They're dropping on me. Nice. Oh, they fell. Cool. I directed the Tetras. There's one above. One on zone.
Oh, I'm out. Yep.
Got him. Two on
Nice.
right side zone now. I directed one of them, but there's 3, so careful. Good picks. 2 on zone still. Watch out for missiles.
Yep.
I should not be frontlining here. That was my fault.
Nice.
Alright, still at a numbers disadvantage.
Got one. Traded.
Good job getting 2 there.
There's one more there.
We might be able
There's one
to
more right there.
keep this up. Nice.
Nice. Well done. Well done.
I'm being pushed. I'm down.
Traded.
Alright. Careful there, North and Chibi are a little split.
It's 2 on zone.
Back up. Got one. One in our streets.
Oh, I gotta get out of here. Ah, I couldn't do it.
Get the zone. Darn, I thought we had enough of it to neutralize at
Oh.
least.
That's very close. Very close.
Not scared of no Hydra, I play Chargers. Fighting words. Excuse me as I assume the fetal position. Is the VOD review from the one I recorded, says Devi. I don't actually know. Is that who recorded this one? Chibi and North are not speaking. That is correct, Banky.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, that is expected. But they can still hear us, so maybe they act on things here or there. What? You're so needy all of a sudden.
Trying to distract you.
Wow. Good, 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 good. See, he's not meowing right now because I'm petting him. So clearly this isn't something that's some basic biological need of his.
You are all good, North Star. It's all good.
Meow.
Meow meow.
Are we gonna have winter break from Squid School? So I will be doing Squid School from a different location, but hopefully the internet will still be good enough to run it, because I'd like to run it if I can. So the only reason it would not happen is if the internet is too bad for it, and I don't think that's the case. I think that I was able to stream before in this place. So Charger on the right-hand side. There's one trying to come
Oh,
left.
wow.
And I'm just going to zone them out for the time being. Tagged one. Nice. Here's armor. One on top mid. Nice.
Nice.
Pushing the Charger back. Nice. They're down. One in their street. Oh, I'm out of ink. Nice. That was a really good inkjet. Got the Charger, and then the 96 is in their street got me. They're getting pushed back. Good collapse. Here comes the foil.
Oh, they got me.
Jumping into north.
Thank you, TD.
We should, hopefully be able to hold here. Just watch out for bombs. Oh, if my shot had gone off, the Charger would be down. Probably should have focused on other things. All right, careful, because that's a 4v3.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, I should not have gotten out of there.
Oh, didn't even see there was someone there. 96 sharking near my ouch. Right underneath the ledge. Just don't go in yet. Don't go in yet. 2v4. I'm getting rushed by the K-shots. They're down. Trying to pressure the charger here, but I don't have an angle. I'm down. Paint for special. Stay safe. Got one, but we might not have time. I got two. Go in, paint the zone, paint the zone. Got the charger. Squeezer is weak, but is backing away. Charger is watching their ramp. Careful. One trying to come left. Sorry for the missiles. I killed you there, honestly.
I got stuck.
One on right side zone on me. Got him. Yep. Ah, alright. At least you got armor for that. Charger's still watching their street a little bit. Oh wow, I didn't even reach that. Bubble's coming onto zone. Back up, back up.
Oh.
I ran into a bomb. That's my bad. Just hold on for a sec. Oh, okay. There's one in sneaky. Still pushing sneaky.
Yep.
Alright, let's ignore that for now. We've got some specials. Let's use them.
Yep.
Need to get out of here. Alright, that's probably game.
Dang. There's a lot of back and forth with that one.
Yeah, we definitely had some good retakes and some good holds. Charger boot camp. That's just Devi's term for practicing charger a lot, you know, playing it for a lot of different situations.
I got so many splats that last game. It was incredible.
Most on the team.
Yeah.
I haven't played first. So
No, I think you guys need to. Yeah, I think you guys need to kind of pick it up a little bit.
I can't even.
Man, I'm still kind of warming up because I haven't played in a couple days.
Gets you. Actually, I didn't have a controller. I didn't have my Switch was actually off that entire time.
Yeah, I'm.
Excuse me, lift my throne higher, please.
Exactly.
Well, I'm playing on a piece of toast. Like, I can't create all the lens.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm a genius game
That's
designer,
hilarious.
okay? I was able to make my controller out of a loaf of bread, but unfortunately it doesn't have all the buttons yet, so,
It's frankly, it's a miracle it's even working. So you know, I'll take it.
yeah, my little brother tried to butter it earlier, so that's caused some problems.
Yeah. That's it.
Think he says,
100%.
so Avery plays better when unaware of what they are doing. Noted.
That's right. I mean, it's probably.
Think he's like
that's probably
scheming,
accurate.
I shall now teach Avery exactly what he is doing, and he will become self-conscious, and that is how I will defeat him.
That's right. All I have to do is just turn my brain off.
Alright, I'm gonna run straight to right side and just harass this charger all game. That's my game plan. I'm being rushed down, which is what I probably should expect. But we might be able to get zone for that. Maybe? No, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You guys did something effective. Unlike me.
We did it. Wow, hammer.
In contrast to myself. Okay. Charger's watching over left mostly. There's one underneath you, Chibi, on your jump. you go, good job. There's one above me on the bridge. Okay, shot on ledge now. They still haven't noticed that I'm here. Cool.
Got him. Hammer.
I'm being rushed. I'm down on left.
Ooh, I traded. There's one more on zone.
One rushing me on right. The sploosh. Here's armor. Let's see what we can do with it. I'm being rushed on right.
Dang it. I'm down.
Probably bad timing for me to call push. Let's try and do it this way. Okay. We gotta move in on zone. Charger's backed away from it, but okay, we're down.
Dang. It's fast.
Okay, so I think I've noticed a trend. We're just so good that the other teams have to try hard that hard.
Yeah. 100%.
Nailed it.
100% it.
I couldn't have
That's
analyzed
it.
it better myself. Hi there, Jazeel Cha-Cha.
Jazeel.
Cha-Cha-Cha.
Cha-cha.
I like to pretend I can dance sometimes.
That's a good thing. I feel like that's a good thing. If you can dance, it doesn't matter if you're good or not. It's just good to dance sometimes.
That way you can be friends with David Bowie.
No.
Teach me, and then I can teach my friend. Oh shoot, I'm
That's right.
missing context there. I'm gonna go play Salmon Run. I don't want to miss that. Yeah, sure, go for it. We'll be starting the VOD review in probably about 20 minutes. It's gonna be 4 more matches to get power.
Yeah.
Avery plays. Maybe if I ever substitute Squid School again, I may just write up a backline boot camp episode. Yeah, Devi, if you want to do that, like, I will, anytime we get a backliner, you know, I'm always bringing Devi on anyway. So if you want to talk about that, or if you're saying you want to put me on a charger and then teach me from the ground up, I would also do that. Coup d'etat? What about a coup
A
d'etat?
coup? Are we planning a coup? What's happening?
Avery's excited all of a sudden.
Oh, what? Coup d'etat? I love those.
Who we all
great.
Blood? Death? Violence?
Chickens? What?
Sounds fun.
Sounds like a grand old time. Oh.
Well, I drew 2 of them off. They're in trench.
Got one.
Exactly where I want to be positioning
landed
on this
on
map.
my face.
The ranges seem really awkward. Got one. Ah! Well, I'm down to the X-Blow. Let's make Gem play backline. I mean, I'm happy to learn more and not be bad at that weapon anymore. One on right.
Oh,
It's just north.
Charger got me.
I'm just gonna paint for special at this point. This one actually doesn't paint terribly because it's so long range. Alright, we gotta go. There were 2 on me on left.
Oh.
Alright.
That was fast.
Back in February, I made Gem play backline while I took front. If you roll Versal Days, it's usually pretty funny. See, Devi can competently play frontline is the thing. Like, we go pretty darn even in 1v1s when we just both play a splatter shot or something. It's not the same way when I play backline against her. So yeah. Aim with chargers is better than every other weapon. So, I mean, chargers are 100% accurate. They will shoot exactly where you point them. So if you do have good aim, then it's a weapon that's you're going to be able to take good advantage of them, you know? So there is that. But also they're hard. What makes them hard is not how hard they are to aim, although you do... I guess there's a little bit of aim assist with other weapons in the sense that there's... the shots are inaccurate, which means that even if you're not quite aiming in that direction, there's a small chance that a shot actually does fire in the direction you want it to. So there is that, but what really makes the other weapons like less aim intensive is their fire rate. You can fire many shots out of a splatter shot before a charger gets one of them out. So even if you miss a few, as long as you're hitting 3 of them by the time the charger is able to fire one of them, you still splat it. That's really what people are talking about there. And, like, that's an important distinction to make. One trying to push left side of zone. I tapped him once. They're on the zone. They jumped. I don't know what I can do here. I don't know where to go once we've got control of the zone. The hammer watching me. Yeah, we'll get this eventually. I have faith. There we go.
Nice.
Inkjet on right. They're in trench. Here's armor. One on right. Oh, one behind us, apparently.
Got the, oh!
That's gonna be wipe. So I guess the K-shot came from... I don't know where the K-shot came from. Maybe they dropped over our bunker. Alright. I'm gonna try and farm armor here, so be careful. Won't be watching yet. Here's an armor, let's go. One in our trench. I hit him once. Hit him twice. They're weak. They got me. Careful, Avery, you're last.
Ooh, yeah. Dang. Got a hammer.
Okay, let's see what we can do here.
Oof.
Yeah. That was a tough one
That was
to
fast.
win at the end. Yeah, Latias is a Charger player, I believe Australian. She's at like, last I checked, she was at like a Div 2 level or something like that. So like she's very solid. She's not top level. She's not like best in the world kind of level, but she's definitely very good. And definitely someone that a lot of people can learn from. Yeah, I mean, the Pokemon usernames in a Splatoon community, it's gonna happen, you know. You're gonna get people who are just big Nintendo fans in general. Lots of like Nintendo variety streamers. It's weird the niches that exist on Twitch. Like, there are people whose niche is just anything Nintendo.
Yeah.
She's good, and Pyron is pretty good as well. Pyron, isn't that a top Japanese player, or am I thinking of the wrong? I'm thinking of Peon. I think that's what it is. Hold on, let me look it up. Pion.
Pion, pion.
Yes. So Pyon. Avery, Pion?
Pion. Yeah.
Pion. Okay. So he is like best in world status. Like he is significantly better than. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't remember whether it's Latias or Latios that is the Charger player, but like he is like 2,900 to 3,000 XP level good. An absolute monster. That like. Anyway, yeah, there's no R in it is the only thing. Everything else is correct there, Smidge.
They may be good, but they don't have red controllers.
This is true. We do have that edge over them, our superior technological expertise.
The peak of technology.
I haven't checked recently. Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's just... Keep going. What were you gonna say?
I'm so bad at knowing when people are done talking.
Virtually, it makes it a little bit harder.
To answer Royal Fishy Fish's question, I don't know because I don't play Chargers. I remember doing a VOD review of them a little while back with the Grillers, and so that was where I remember them from. But I don't know how active they still are at this point in time. Watch out for bomb. Oh, one came from right.
Oh.
96.
I got exploded.
Do we have any Rapid Pro players here? Like, where do you guys usually position for, especially lockouts? Like, once we have zone, where do you guys stand? Alright. There's the armor from both sides. I tagged a few armors off, but that's all I was able to do there.
Traded.
Okay. I'm aiming badly. Sorry. Yeah, that's my fault. We should have been able to get the pro between the two of us a lot faster, and then we would have had a 2v2. But I left you in there for too long without crossfire support. Okay, we need to just go. We need to just run at them like stupid people. Yeah. Still very active. Cool.
You guys think
Good to
maybe
see.
we should try making a bread controller out of like a different type of dough? Maybe a rye? I don't know.
Sourdough?
'Cause this one doesn't seem... Oh, that might be good. This one doesn't seem to be working now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think the composition of this bread, I might want to change a little bit about it.
Needs
So
to be needed a little more. Should I switch to maybe my deco roller? Get the chicken swarm?
Do we have enough paint for that? I think we might. It's a fairly paint-intensive weapon. Like, you need to have a lot of the map painted your color in order for it to work. So,
Yeah.
you could probably find ways in through, like, trenches, through the right and left sides of mid. So that would work for Muscle Forge, and then for Snapper, yeah, there are a bunch of places you can work. But you gotta be a little careful, because that is a map that is conducive to long-range weapons.
Okay.
But we'll just run super aggressive and see if that works well. Is it
Let's
just
do
a
it.
Charger player? He's the best non-scoped Charger player in the world. Yes. I was saying, like, he's like 2,900, 3,000 X power type good. Like, he is about as good as a player can conceivably be.
Dang.
I think the highest X power that has ever been reached is like 3,100 something. Played Scoped before a few years ago. Watched his video analysis. Yeah. It's tricky because of the language barrier, because the Japanese players do give a lot of commentary and whatnot, but there's almost nobody working to translate any of it. So we don't have a lot of information on the way that they see the game, a lot of like interviews and things like that. We kind of need to rely on our weebs to translate things for us.
これが残念ですね。
Yeah. I think the metagame in 20XX for Splatoon is that every team has a professional weeb whose job is just to translate everything from Japan culturally and linguistically so that we understand the mindsets of the Japanese players better.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Otaku, start building that resume, because when Splatoon esports hits it big, you guys are going to be in high demand. Time to go bother Ninga. Ninga is one of our teammates, or my Devi's teammate currently, formerly my teammate.
Do they speak
Procrastinating with
Japanese?
lessons. Ninga's definitely a weeb for sure. He'll admit as much to you. Okay, let's try to get this one more game out here, and then we'll switch over to the Cephalosouls VOD review. I am definitely interested in getting... There's a good macro level discussion to be had, I think, about that VOD, so I'm excited to get to it, but we'll close it out. We'll get ourselves a power first.
Let's do it. Final round.
Japanese notebook at your grandmother's house. Oh, well, it's not super useful to you there. Maybe your grandmother's gonna learn and gonna have an anime cosplay before long. Maybe you need to grab that and save her from that awful fate.
Spare her the anime.
I wait on bated breath to hear Avery's translation of this.
この晩期やめがあるやめがあるやめがあるこれが何だsomething Banky
More than I can read.
is kono means like this or like this, and then Banky is Banky's name just in Japanese. Yame ga aru though. I don't. Something that is, because aru is like saying that something is or are. Yame wa wasuremashita. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's good that it's not written in kanji though, because I suck at reading kanji. Not good at all. I just can't remember it. For the life of me. I'm getting there, but 10,000 unique characters that mean something different when put next to a different one is.
Oh, Banky's saying, did I type Yame? It should be Yume.
Yume. Oh no, it is Yume ga aru. So okay, I see. Like they have Banky. This Banky has a dream? Is that Yume ga aru? Yume or Yumeji? Maybe. Yume means the dream.
The VOD review are in the waiting room for after this match. Just a heads up, so they are ready
Awesome.
for whenever it's in.
That's good.
Awesome.
Because I was telling Ashik X45, so they're actually early. Look at how punctual you guys are. And look at how not punctual our league opponents are.
Yeah.
Okay,
They're
2 timeouts.
scared of the
I'm just moving over to the VOD review. I'm throwing my hands up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's just dip
They're
away
just
from that.
really scared of the bread controller.
That is 100% exactly what it is. 100%.
Alrighty. So, boom. And... So, I think it's like the heater or something in my apartment. It always sounds like there's a kid downstairs with a remote control car who's just ramming it into the wall of the building. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. There's this, like, motor that whirs up. It goes like it's accelerating, and then thump. like it just hit the wall, and that's literally what I thought it was for such a long time. So if you heard that on stream, that is what was happening there. I don't know if
It's
you
just
guys
him
would have.
trying to get good at Mario Kart, but he's not good, so he's trying to cover it up.
It's like the Mario.
I hate how you have to call me out like that, but you've spoken no lies. Alrighty. So we're gonna start off by watching the VOD here, but in a minute I'm going to switch over to a different view where we're going to talk. We're going to actually draw some, X's and O's on the map screen here and talk about a big macro concept for tower control.
Are you gonna drag
you
the
gonna-
other two in and then screen share?
Well, I guess now that you mention it, I probably should do that.
Might as well.
Alrighty, hello friends, and I'm going to really quickly screen share my OBS window.
My mic work? Okay, there it goes.
Yes, your mic works.
Very quiet, but it works.
Yeah, you're gonna have to turn me up. I'm sorry.
That is.
I'm hearing it
all
loud and clear, actually.
Oh.
Works out for me.
My volume is just down.
Alrighty. So, Cephalosouls is now in the VC. Hello, Cephalosouls.
Hello.
And they are playing against Boneless Children. Spelling. Anyway, Boneless Children is a team which includes Tita, who we've actually done a VOD review for before. And we had a cool moment on stream at one point where we ran into this team, and I was like, wait, I was like coaching Tita, and then Tita was like, yeah, I want to go find a team, and then they found a team, and we're playing them on Squid School. It was cool. So
Ever got disconnected if you want to drag him back in? Thanks.
yeah,
Yeah,
would you
he's,
mind grabbing that, Avery? I'm full screened at this point.
I'm already on it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Rubber don't have the best Wi-Fi, so you might have to watch that.
Gotcha. But so basically, both teams here are friend, is the point.
Yes.
And
and
it's,
this is
it's
our first scrim, really, against an actual team. Well, it's our first scrim in general. We never.
There we go. Okay. It was playing out, the game audio was playing out through my computer speaker, which was wrong, but now it should be playing through the stream. And let me know if there are any audio issues so that I can resolve those as soon as we see them. Okay. So we've got, this is Boneless Children here. We've got Lore on the 52. We've got Weeble on the Brush, Tita on the Zap, and Crumb on the CDS. I'm going to tell you right away, your biggest problem, Cephalosouls, in this match was the Brush and the CDS. And we'll talk about exactly what they're doing that's making them so annoying once we get to those parts of the match. But kind of be thinking about where they're positioning here, because that'll be really important in particular.
Yeah, best of 5.
And by the way, there is audio of callouts here. You will be hearing Cephalosouls if you're able to hear the game audio well enough, if you're able to hear the video. So there might be a little confusion about what is like the team and what is the recording. So just if I ignore something that you say, please realize I probably just thought it was a part of the video or something like that.
I think.
All right. Taking a really quick look at builds. Some run speed and swim speed, some MPU from Ashik. And I know Ashik,
oh
you've
my
probably
goodness.
talked to Devi about builds.
This scrim, I was all over the place on accident. I started out this scrim with my Splat Junior t-shirt, so I was running Inksaber sub for like 3 matches. I was all over the place. I was so nervous. I have the wrong gear on mask-wise, but it still gives me my swim speed. But
I'm really glad that you are noticing that, because that is actually a huge factor in playing in tournaments and playing against other teams. You get nervous when you haven't been in a lot of competitive situations before. It's something that takes some getting used to. I played Melee competitively for 14 years, and I still get nervous if I sit down at a stream setup. It's still different on the stage than it is just 3 feet lower to the ground playing on one of the other random setups. And so this is something that a lot of new Splatoon players, if they haven't played a competitive game before, it's something that does impact them. It makes you more impulsive. It makes you, basically, the way to think about it is that in a pressure situation, you're going to fall back to your B game. You're going to fall back to your autopilot. You're going to fall back on like what you normally do. You're not going to be at your absolute peak in terms of either execution or decision making. And so the idea is through training and through practice, you build up your baseline well enough that when it comes down to those absolute nail biters, the B game that you're falling back on is the highest level that can be. That's the way that I see it.
Yeah.
You see this especially at LANs. Nobody is ever playing their best at LANs. You watch a LAN recording, and that is going to be some of the worst gameplay you've ever seen from even a team like FT Win. It's really more like the intense scrims where you're going to see the best level. The dress rehearsal is often better than the concert.
Yeah, the gear I'm wearing, it has the correct mains, but I have octo glasses for my Hydra gear, which it basically just rearranges Debbie's gear. I just kind of plagiarized her.
Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah, my octo glasses have all the utility subs on it. So here I at least have my Manus swim speed back on because that's my E-leader hat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was rewatching the whole recording Debbie did, and I'm like, wait, that's my Splat Junior gear I'm wearing. Oh.
Yeah, don't worry about little things like that. That's something that, it's a minor mistake that's not going to impact the game that much. And it's something you can just look back on afterwards and be like, oh, whoops.
So
anyway.
I'm being Rubber's voice for this portion since they're having to use their computer and don't have a mic. But they're saying that this was definitely a weird match for them. They weren't sure how to play it or what weapon to pick, was what they were saying.
Gotcha. What is Rubber's weapon pool?
He's mainly a one-trick bamboo. Lately, he favors the MK2 bamboo. He's lately been trying to pick up mini splatling, and he's showing a lot of proficiency with it, but he's mostly a one-trick bamboo.
Okay.
With an MK2 favoring.
So lots of missiles. In this match, he goes with the bomb rush one. So, we'll go into that a little bit. Maybe not necessarily the special itself, but the bamboo and how it's being used here. So we've got Thermalink. I don't know if that's a particularly common pick for bamboo players.
It is, to a certain degree, yeah. It's pretty
I am very much not a bamboo expert. I know what it's like to play against it. I know how it can play in order to be annoying. But there are some specifics to the weapon that you're better off asking a B rank level bamboo player than me.
Rubber doesn't use MPU on his, so he really vitalizes Thermalink because he is not more likely to get the one hit kill from someone just thinking about enemy ink. So that's a lot of not MPU builds utilize Thermalink for bamboo.
That makes sense.
They say it's kind of a meme, but I think it's good on TC specifically.
Okay. Chibi's T-Tech build is very similar to my own, at least from what I can see there. And then North, all of those make sense to me, I think. I don't remember exactly what MPU does on a Tri-Slosh, but the swim speed makes sense to me, and being able to chuck more bombs is never a bad thing. So there might be, more optimal options than Inksaver Sub for some weapons, but I don't think it's ever like a bad thing to put on your weapon, unless you're just never planning on using the sub. So
increases ink coverage for Tri-Slosher.
Okay. So they're looking for more paint coverage. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That's not really usually what you run a Tri-Slosher for. You usually run it as a Slayer weapon. And I will say, I think one of the things that the team struggles with a little bit here is you can definitely win with this comp, but you're going to get outpainted. You're going to have to deal with that disadvantage because of the weapons that are chosen here. The Hydra just doesn't paint an awful lot. Like I've said before, it paints a lot when it has a charge, and if it just could always paint that much, then it would be insane. but you spend like 5 seconds not doing anything with the weapon to charge it up. And so because of that delay time, an NZAP is halfway to special by the time the Hydra has charge again, So it's definitely going to get outpainted in that regard. So basically the way you have to play this when you know you're going to be outpainted is to play either for picks or for like chip damage or zone coverage or something like that. You're trying to kill them, or like have kill threat on them in order to be able to push successfully. So what happens here at the beginning is Oh no, that was the recording. See, that's what's gonna happen to me. That's gonna keep happening here.
Jem hears voices.
I do hear voices, and I mean, so do all of you guys. You're stuck here in my delusion with me, so don't you go getting any ideas. Don't be getting uppity on me here. But
They're telling you to man the arrow spray, Jem. You gotta give in.
no. Anyway,
Please, no.
no, just why? Anyway, so there's not a lot of conversation going on about where everybody's going to roll out. And that's not necessarily a bad thing if you've talked about it before. And I don't feel like that's probably a thing that's happened. There are a number of things that make me think that. But so what happens here is Rubber goes off to the left and everyone else is focusing on the right-hand side. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because Rubber is a bamboo, and a bamboo is an absolute brick wall for anything that is shorter range than it. It's just so difficult to push past it. You really need to get its attention with somebody else or make it miss a shot or something to be able to close distance fast enough on a bamboo. Very obnoxious. And so what it could do is play kind of a skirmisher role where it keeps a couple people busy on this side while the Slayers sweep around on the right, and maybe you collapse that way. So this can absolutely work, and then Ashik can maybe provide some support to Rubber's back if Rubber needs it. But there's not really a lot of communication going on here at all at the beginning. And this is one of the most important fights in the entire game, This is the only 4-on-4 team fight you're ever guaranteed to have. So playing neutral at the beginning of the map like this, it's something that you should definitely have a plan for, and it can determine the momentum of the game in general. A lot of games are won on the first push. So Rubber goes off on the left-hand side here, and we just kind of leave him there for a lot of the match. This pathing right here is terrifying to me, and here's why. Frontline weapons are very likely to roll out on the right-hand side, because if they roll out on the right-hand side, they have cover behind this wall, and then they have cover behind this stack, and then they can flank. There's never a place where a backliner can just really easily pick them if they roll out to the right-hand side. So, like your team is doing right now, you're very likely to see Slayers go out on that side. And what's more, even if they're not checking the map, you've just put a green line of ink across this corner here that the brush almost certainly saw. So, for you to get this close to the ledge against a team that has a 52, that has a brush, weapons that kill very quickly, even an NZAP would probably be really dangerous if they were sitting right here. The fact that you come this close to the ledge is really scary to me. You're putting yourself at a height disadvantage against them, and you're kind of pushing right around them. The brush could probably have killed you here. I think the aim is off, and that's probably the only reason you survive that. And then from here, in all this time that you've been getting chased away out of position by this brush, there's not been a single call out to let your teammates know what's going on over there. And you do manage to survive, and you do manage to get footing here. But again, they don't know what's happening to you unless they're really checking their map very well. So what could be happening right now is Chibi and North could be pushing in this direction. And now you have a pincer, because these guys have to either devote all of their attention to Chibi and North and ignore you coming in behind them, or they have to devote all of their attention to you and ignore Chibi and North coming in behind them. And Ashik is shooting at them from the front. Anyone trapped in mid by all of this mess is in a lot of trouble if this is happening here. So you could be calling like, flank mid, flank their wall or something like that. Chibi and North could be like coming in through this way. They could be coming in through this way. I'm assuming you can see my mouse right now. And if you can't, let me know. Okay, cool. So there are a lot of things that could be happening if that information was out there. But right now, Chibi and North and Ashik are all just in a holding pattern because they don't see any opportunities, and so they're not going to really act on anything yet. And you even say here, so I know you're on comms because you're saying this, right? You're saying, approach me, do it. Well, why should they? You're daring them into a 1v1, right? Why not dare them into a 2v1? Why not be like, hey, I'm trying to get this 52 to approach me. I want them to do it. And then you could be pulling someone else in. Now, in the meantime, Chibi gets a really good pick here. And since you, Rubber, are now seeing that even more people are rotating over to you, this is an excellent time, now that you see, oh, they're 3 down, push in, on the people who are pushing me. This is a great opportunity to create a 2v1 situation that you could win here. But because Chibi's like, okay, I got the brush. Notice how, like, passively Chibi is having to push into mid, because Chibi doesn't know if it's safe to push any further than this. They're peeking around this corner being like, okay, I think I can get behind the tower. And then they're peeking around the tower like, okay, I think I might be able to push into... If you had just called, they're all looking at me, Chibi could just rush in here and probably get, like, a double. So...
I want to hop up.
So I'm going to let this push play out, but then I'm going to talk about the primary concepts that I'm going to be talking about several times throughout this match here. This is an ideal pushing condition right now. You've got a special, you've displaced them, you've got control of this side, you're putting people up over the top. Like, this is all good so far. I don't know why Chibi is in this particular location right now, given that we're on the tower, we're pushing it forward. We've already got North at their bats, so Chibi could probably be pushing a little bit more aggressively. Let me see.
Wait out armor. And then I think I'm
gonna wait out armor, and then I'm gonna try and push in. Okay, you don't have to back up that far to wait out the armor. They are, 1 down, and your team is already on the tower and pushing up. But I do like the idea to push their cut. That is a really long bomb throw. Are you running sub power up?
What?
Chibi, do you run sub power up on your T-Tech build?
No, I
can
send you my build if you would like.
Maybe I just have a bad sense of what that looks like on overhead.
I was just kind of scared to move forward, as always. Not sure why.
Something that I think I talked to you about before, but I've definitely talked about to other T-Tech players on stream, is if you're not sure it's safe to move up, then just paint the way forward a little bit from, like, max range. So, like, instead of being, like, right here, maybe stand, like, hereabouts and paint this stuff. And if somebody contests that, then you know, okay, someone's watching this. Now I can't go. But, like, you can paint maybe up to here before the CDS is in range to hit you, even if they have height advantage. So, like, you can kind of poke at that and see if it's safe, and once you've seen, oh, they're firing back at me, now I know where they are, It's a way to collect information while still getting paint on the ground and still painting for special. And your team especially needs the paint from you in this particular situation. So maybe that's something that you can think about doing. But, okay, so backing it up, the Booyah Bomb goes down, and that kind of stalls this push here. And so this is not actually the push that I was thinking of. I'll talk about it in a little bit. But what happens here is Ashik goes, ugh. Now, what you might interpret from that on the voice chat is that Ashik is down, but you might not. So what you want to be doing is starting to move toward callouts that are more efficient. Because Ashik does eventually say that they went down, but your team needs to know that sooner than later. And so something that I need to work on more, and that a lot of people I know that are still working on it. So this isn't like something that, oh, I'm definitely 100% better than this all the time. But definitely try to make callouts that are useful to your teammates and not just expressive of your feelings.
Yeah, that's something I've noticed I've struggled with, is especially because I've been focusing a lot more of my attention on Hydra, so escaping situations like Booyah Bombs, it feels a lot more different because it almost feels like I can tap shot quicker to paint with E-Leader than I can to escape with Hydra because of how those two different weapons work. So I get caught up in a lot of different bombs, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure
that actually is the case, that, like,
It probably is,
Because
because E-Liter can
the Hydra puts
snapshot
down individual bullets, and so you need multiple bullets to line up in a good enough row. Whereas an E-Liter, as soon as you release the trigger, you're getting at least a straight line that goes a pretty good distance away from you. So I'm pretty sure that the E-Liter is just straight up considerably faster than the Hydra. But
Yeah, so I've been struggling with just trying to get used to when I'm safe to escape, or not safe, but how I need to escape certain situations with Hydra, because that's a new weapon for me.
mhm.
So it's a lot of my frustration is kind of shown in my callouts with that, and you are right. I do need to get a bit better with saying I'm down rather than like, ugh.
Yeah, like, and you can look at so many recordings of me doing pretty much exactly the same thing. So don't even, don't feel like you are less than for that. But that is good that you're thinking about it for sure. So the Hydra goes down. It happens. They threw a Booyah Bomb directly on it. Like, sometimes there's just not a lot you're going to be able to do about that. But what we have to do next is respond to suddenly being at a disadvantage. And that's something that we don't do. This is now at best 3v3, because we do still have this brush spawning in. So you have maybe 4 seconds before you have to worry about that brush still. But you have to realize, like, the advantage that we started this push with, we don't have that anymore. And right now, they're in a better position to defend than you guys are to attack. Chibi is still a little bit out of the picture. They might be able to, like, push in here and get something done if they realize that all three are focusing on the right, but I don't think she goes for it. The other three are going to be able to collapse here. Pushing up bats is a really dangerous thing to do. This is super duper scary because this is something that a lot of players are going to watch on enemy teams. It's also dangerous because you have crossfire coming in from plat. So north is really exposed, and rubber has to be kind of defending north here. And as soon as these three start collapsing in, these two, even, not recognizing right away that the Hydra is down, the Hydra, even if it's still on the tower here, is not going to be able to protect them. So what we need to be doing is recognizing, oh, we're one down. We need to play a little bit safer and wait until we've got our player back up, because we're going to be at a disadvantage for a short while. One thing that would try to trigger, going back to how this push is set up. So rubber pushes in, forces Tita out. North comes and does that flank finally that I was hoping rubber was going to call for earlier. And so now they've got control of this position. But look at all this blue behind them, right? What is the escape route? The escape route for these two, as it is right now, is either this way or this way. This way is a dead end. This way, if the opponents push out, your best opportunity is probably to either, get a cheeky pick on them when they're not expecting it, or to just jump out because you're going to get zoned out by strong players. This way is a little bit better and might actually get you to safety. But at some point, once you get past wall here, you're either going to have to do a really silly shark underneath their plat to stay safe, or you're going to have to expose yourself in mid, and that's when that gets dangerous. Your safest way out is directly behind you, because that puts you past stacks here and lets you drop over a ledge, lets you drop this way. There are a bunch of different ways you can escape in this direction, and that's still blue. So because we don't paint this at all here, look at how little paint North has to retreat with. Look at how little paint rubber has to work with. Even before Ashik goes down, this is dangerous. And now this is just a death trap. Now they just collapse on this. North has absolutely nowhere to go. Rubber is trying to kite back and back up and cannot, because this is all painted blue. And so the lack of an escape route there makes it so that this basically even fight gets snowballed really hard in the other team's favor. It also doesn't help that Chibi is still behind right stack. If your teammates are up there, if they're risking themselves up there, you should be risking yourself up there too, is my thinking here. Like, it's one thing to say, oh, I don't think North should have still been pushing up there, but like, North has been up here for like 5 or 6 seconds. And so at this point, part of the reason that North is not being successful is that the whole team hasn't committed to the push that North started. So I would
Yeah.
say, you know, if somebody's going in, put somebody else in there with them. And if they make a bad call, okay, you realize that you overcommitted to that fight and you can learn that for next time. But get in the habit of pushing in together, because if you don't all commit to something once the trigger is pulled, you have a much lower chance of success. Another way to think about it is like it's better to commit really fast to the wrong decision than it is to oscillate and hesitate to make the right decision. If somebody just calls go, 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 and everybody goes and goes and goes, you might get something out of that, and you might catch the opponents by surprise. A really, really, really good team, like Div 1 or higher, will be able to field that, and will be able to kind of pick you and kite you and take you down for pushing over aggressively. But, like, for now, just get to the point where your team is going in at the same time, and that's what's going to make you the most successful.
They have me.
Do you want me to pack?
What is this concept of packing that Chibi talks about here? That sounds interesting.
It's Chibi using her jetpack. She said packing is.
Oh,
easier
okay,
to
inkjetting.
I know. I had to clarify with that too.
I
thought
like
she meant
that.
her jetpack, but
I like that
yeah.
because everyone says I'm going to jet, which is annoying because there's a jet squelcher, and people call the jet squelcher the jet sometimes. So
yeah,
it's cool that you have a one-syllable word that means jetpack. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
She tries to time it with my armor, so that's another reason she calls it out for me, is so we can try and time things together.
Yep, that's good special
Yeah.
coordination. That's excellent.
Yeah, we tried to work on that a lot more after you pointed that out for us. It's
Very
calling
cool.
specials out. Sure.
And yes, for the audience, we have had a session with Cephalosouls before, so that's part of where all of that's coming from. All right. So,
If you get.
looking at the defensive position here, I think this is pretty good, honestly. We've got Ashik, a long-range weapon, in position behind cover and with long range on a very vulnerable position that they're going to want to push, which is up here. We've got Rubber, who can support Ashik and can also you know do crossfire if someone's trying to flank Ashik. And then we have the T-Tech with an inkjet in a good position to use an inkjet from, and we're watching cut a little bit on the other side. And we've got this good semicircle shape here. We'll talk about that a little bit more as time goes on, because we're going to be talking about zoning here. I keep saying we're going to talk about this, and then we haven't gotten to it yet, but we'll get there.
Jim.
Mhm.
So Rubber's saying that if they were able to get onto the channel without being dragged, they'd probably be able to get their microphone to work, because it's doing something where it's like it's kind of blocking them if they're dragged up to the channel.
All right.
Mobile does that if you can give them like a temporary role where they can directly join.
Yeah,
Mobile
I'm not
sometimes
sure if I
has
can do that.
problems.
Let's drop to waiting room.
Okay,
Let's do
let's
that.
go.
Hello, Rubber.
Hey.
That is working.
Yep.
Awesome.
Discord has really weird properties with dragging sometimes if you have a bad connection.
Okay. So we'll keep going from here. So,
I'm gonna start the stream up again on Discord.
oh, sorry.
Just before you get too far into it.
Okay. Now it should be back.
Yep.
All right. So it's hard to see because of all the booyahs that are coming out. But the brush hops up here, and it is at this point that I'm hoping Ashik just completely shreds this guy. Okay, and Ashik is immediately shooting at them, and they dive away just before Ashik's charge is able to come out. But that's the kind of defense that we're looking for here. Now Crumb is also, it looks like, on that wall and is starting to aggress in this direction. So what we want to be focusing on is what's developing there in the front lines. We've got a threat that we've seen and acknowledged, but then there's another threat that's coming in to try and take advantage of your attention being on the other one. So at this point, we need a second person, or else Ashik is going to get closed on, and when they run out of charge, they're going to get jumped. So now Chibi is here, but they throw another wrench into this situation by booyah bombing this position. And so now they're able to take control of Bats. Bats is short for battlements. It is this location right up here. And that's really tough. And they do a really, really good job of coordinating their push up here so that they kind of draw Ashik's attention into 3 different places and then force them out of position once they have no charge. So that's all really well played from Boneless Children. So great pick there from Rubber. They're able to get through first checkpoints, even before you guys can get set up. And so you kind of just have to consider that a factor of losing the fight beforehand. So that's not bad. But now you have a pick. And so now we want to be collapsing, especially on the tower, so that we can stop the push while we have the numbers advantage and are more likely to win the fight. So Chibi is trying to aggress the tower directly and is getting stopped by Lore. Hopefully there's some crossfire to support that, and it comes from north. Meanwhile, Ashik and Rubber are looking like they're focusing more on tower. We want one of them shooting the right-hand side of tower, one of them shooting the left so that Tita can't tower dance. And they do eventually get that pick, which is awesome. Meanwhile, Chibi and North... what happens here? North is able to force Lore out of position, but not pick them. And meanwhile, Crumb again is doing a great job here of noticing where aggro is and aggressing when someone's shooting at their teammate. Crumb is a great example of doing what I always try to say, which is shoot at the guy that's shooting at your teammate. If you can do that, you can play... the tactical game of Splatoon really, really well. And again, like I've said, it's easier said than done because there are a lot of implications of that. Like, Crumb was up over here on this wall earlier, and then they shifted all the way around to here to help take this fight instead, right? So they've done a lot of moving around, they've done a lot of positioning, they've done a lot of scoping out what's going on in the game, but the ultimate effect of this is... they save Lore, and I believe they end up getting the pick on North here before they back up. Oh, and they get another one on Rubber, so that's a 2-for-1 for Crumb. CDS is really, really good at doing this thing where the push is dying, like they have gone down, they're not pushing the objective anymore, but the CDS will stick around and hover right around the edges of Plat and jump out at someone right when they're at max range and either get a pick or just kite them back and waste their time. And they're doing a great job of wasting you guys' time as you try to get back into mid. This is like exactly, textbook what the CDS does. It sits around dead pushes and stalls so that the other team doesn't get as much momentum for their own push as your team gets for the counter push when they come back.
Power.
So now you guys are in a 2v2 situation, and all you can really do at this point, because you don't have the stage position, nor do you have the numbers or the paint, you got to just kind of paint the map and try and get as much map control back as you can. There's nothing much else you're going to accomplish here until your teammates are up. So I want Chibi painting. Chibi should not be sharking. I don't think there's really any purpose that's serving right now. They've clearly backed up away from tower. There's paint over here, and so you'll be able to, check map and see them painting if they're trying to get to the tower. And currently the tower is up in the air. It's coming down this ramp, so there's no way that anyone could conceivably get onto the tower right now. We've already cleared out the CDS. That was the only threat from this direction, so at this point, just paint over here. If someone starts shooting at you, you can be far enough back that you can just kind of swim away from that. But they're probably not going to get a great angle if the 52 is standing here trying to shoot up at you. It's kind of awkward. So you're probably pretty safe to at least paint this line right here. Ashik is already doing this and kind of cleaning up the base, but Chibi needs to be painting more so that you guys have a better map to come back to after this spawn.
Retreating.
So the other team is kind of regrouping around these two here, but they're playing it safe, which is smart because the rest of their team isn't back yet, and they're probably painting for special before they're going to do anything anyway. So we're back to basically a incredibly neutral position, except again, this stuff could be painted if Chibi had been doing some painting earlier. And so you might have a little bit more access to mid if that were the case. This Booyah Bomb is, I think, very premature. All that's going to happen with this Booyah Bomb, especially as far forward as it's thrown on the plat, like, okay, maybe if you throw this behind the enemy team, that forces the rest of them forward, and then, you know, your 52 can take pot shots at them as they have to pop up over wall or something, put themselves in a vulnerable space. But all this is doing is forcing them backwards. And since you're not on the tower or anything, what's going to happen is they're going to walk backwards a few steps, dodge the Booyah Bomb, and then they're just going to move right back and take exactly the same positions they were holding before. They do also pop missiles, but, like, at this point, if you're popping specials as boneless children, you want to be moving in with those specials. Like, the point of the missiles, the point of the Booyah is displacement. You're not going to get kills with those reliably unless you also have a lot of pressure already from the front line. And that pressure is not being exerted yet, so I think this is a misplay on their part. You guys now have 4 specials to their 0, and they don't have any better map position than when they started this push. Like, they don't even fire a shot while those specials are going out. So that's an effective special use on their part, and I want you guys realizing we've got 4 specials and they have 0. Let's use 2 of them and start taking mid control back. Instead, so Rubber goes over here. Chibi is backing up away from this position, which, again, like, if we were in the position of, like, let's pop specials and go, this is exactly the wrong play for Chibi, but that's not thinking that we're clearly operating on. So if you're just in a neutral position, which you're not, but since we're acting like it is, if you're in a neutral position and you're with, you know, paired up with a teammate or something, I usually like to call I'm backing up, because that clues your teammate in that they might not have support if they take a fight. And there is a fight brewing here. Rubber is clearly shooting at someone. They should be spotting them now, and they should be calling this out as soon as they recognize that there's somebody there. Because Chibi could turn around and potentially maybe throw a bomb and get a return pick or something. But as it is, Rubber just gets soloed out and is out of the equation. And so now Boneless Children, on the backs of being on the back foot here, because they just get a pick for nothing, they're going to be able to move in here anyway. So, okay, great pick from Ashik, taking Tita off the tower. That's going to delay Boneless Children's push a lot. There's now a 2v2 developing over here, and hopefully Ashik turns their attention to that a little bit. And awesome job by North and Chibi kiting this back, taking out the 52. Not an easy fight, you know, 1v1 to win. So you guys paired up really well there and took them out. And so now, hopefully, you know, there's the armor going out, I believe, and you guys are going to rush forward and kind of clear out mid a little bit here. We do have Chibi on the inkjet, so the paint is going to be a little bit rough, but you guys are painting most of what you need to be painting. I would like to see a little bit more paint go down on the right-hand side because, I mean, you know, we're watching from the overhead. We can see there's a brush there, but, like, you want to be sure that there's not a brush here is kind of the thought process. So a little bit of paint that Robert is painting down here is really good. Hopefully these two are able to recognize the flank coming in from right.
Coming on right.
Good job. You just call it out. And North also gets an excellent pick here. Tita had no business being in that position against a Hydra and a Slosher. The most you want to be doing as an N-Zap in this position is throwing bombs at the tower. But challenging a Tri-Slosh, you know, a weapon that hits up and over walls and also splats faster, just not a fight that you ever want to be taking. So great job from North there capitalizing on that. And so now you've got a really powerful position. And this is where I'm finally going to do the thing I've been saying I'm doing all along and pull up this screen here. So this is a part of Sendu.Inc. Sendu.Inc. has a plans section right here. So
yep,
that's
I use that for Rainmaker for mapping out what paths we're gonna take. And what
awesome. And just for the benefit of the audience as well, this is, you know, Sendu.Inc., which is a really useful website in general. This is where a lot of top players will post their builds. So I often go to the builds section to see what people are running on the weapons that I play. and kind of keep current by using that resource. It's also a place where if you're looking for a team, you can, post as a free agent or as a team. You're looking for people. Anyway, what I'm talking about here is the plans section, and that this gives you a whole bunch of tools that you can use to look at a map and kind of create plans with the rest of your team. So what I'm going to do is different modes, remember, have different layouts. So you want to actually pick the correct mode. You want to pick the correct map. And then I always go top down because it is so much easier to see the map from this perspective, I think, than it is from the other perspective that it gives you. So I'm going to zoom in as much as I can afford to here and still have space. So right now what's happening is we've got how much of an advantage is it? So this is a 2 down, and one is respawning, one is at perch. So we've got one player here, the others are down. We've got, and it's got this nice little feature where I can click on these guys and create weapon icons. So we've got Hydra, Tri-Nouveau. We've got
M2 bamboo.
Where are the bamboos? There they are. And we've got a T-Tech.
Top row.
Yep. All right. And unfortunately, it puts them all in like really weird random places. So I don't think I ever got the T-Tech there. So I have to locate them on them. But okay. So bucket, T-Tech, Hydra, bamboo. So what's happening right now is we've got the Hydra on the tower, and the Hydra is trucking along this way on the tower. Here's what needs to happen. We need to protect the tower from the enemy team. Where is the enemy team? The enemy team is here. So let's think about zoning for a second. The concept that I talk about in a number of videos, and a concept that is really, really central to an understanding of how this game works. If you want to get somebody off the tower, you have to do one of two things. You have to either shoot at them to either scare them off or splat them, or you have to bomb them to scare them off or splat them. Either one of those things has a limited range. So for example, if I'm a T-Tech player and I want to stop the tower here, I need to get about like this close to it. So we'll just say there's a circle about yay big. And this is a really, really rough estimate. There are a lot of factors that play into this. Height advantage matters. Whether you have cover matters, because a T-Tech fighting a Hydra at this range is bad. But that's the general idea, right? You need someone who's got this much range to not be this close to the tower in order to keep the tower rider safe. So how do we do that? Well, we need to position people in places where you can stop anybody from entering that zone. They're very unlikely to flank from around this way. Although that can happen. That is something you have to watch sometimes. Because this is really slow. And also, as soon as anybody catches that, the Hydra, caught somebody coming from this direction earlier. It's not a stretch of the imagination to say that they're just going to see this coming. This is a really high-risk, medium reward play. That's pretty unlikely. So usually what can work is to have somebody watching this angle, somebody watching this angle, and somebody watching this angle, or the wall. And it's kind of the same thing. If you're watching, in this direction, that whole cone, you can see everything that's there, right? So what we want to be doing then is establishing control of those lines there, these places. And at the moment, with our frontliners, so we've got both Chibi and North sitting in mid here behind the tower that is already pushed out to like here. You guys are not defending the tower by like being in this position. You might stop like this angle of approach here, but you couldn't stop this angle of approach. You couldn't stop this angle of approach. And really the hardest thing for the Hydra to be able to watch is... Let me get some of these things off the screen. Oops. Delete. 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 The hardest thing for the Hydra to watch this entire way is somebody standing right here and shooting down at the tower. This is the biggest defensive stronghold for a very long time on this map. FLC talks a lot about strongholds, about positions that are just disproportionately easy to defend from. And the big reason is the height advantage. The defenders have massive height advantage here, and it's very difficult to contest because you have to just scale this vertical wall to get up there. It's not like it's even a ramp, you know? You can fight your way up this ramp, and that's still at a disadvantage, but like climbing a wall is the most vulnerable that anybody like ever is in this game. Because you can't fire your weapon while you're on a wall, but you are guaranteed that if your opponent is looking at the right angle, they can see you. Someone can stand from right here and shoot somebody off the wall, and what this person has to do is let go of ZL, snap their camera at least 90 degrees to be aiming at this person, and hit shots while they are falling. That's the way that this person stops this. The way that this person stops this is they aim at the spot above where they're climbing, stop them from moving, and then shoot them once they get there. It's very easy to pre-fire. So, the frontliners are the best weapons in the game equipped to be taking these scrappy little fights that have to break out in order to secure this defensive stronghold. So, what you as frontliners need to be doing when you have the advantage, when you've cleared people out as much as you're going to, is get your butts up this wall and take this space right here. If the defending team is able to get control of this area right here and keep it, they have control of second checkpoint easy. And that's the most difficult checkpoint in this entire map to hold. So this is your primary objective, getting somebody up here where they can be annoying and they can hold control. Ideally, you want like the bamboo or the Hydra to be in this position, because then the enemy team literally cannot approach this safely from spawn. Like, they have these two angles, that's it. And both of those angles are easily watchable by something that has longer range. And that's where you take your range advantage and really impose it on them by holding this right here. Whenever we, like, our objective with Devi on our team was always to get Devi into this position. And if she's there, it's game over, was kind of our thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm still learning a lot of positions where Hydrix, because I'm very used to E-Leader and where E-Leaders excel in different spots.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's very different for sure.
Yeah, so it's having something with a sustainable fire rate, you know, with something as large as Hydra's duration of fire. I can't think of the word, but so yeah, I'm definitely like watching some of Debbie's you know, what she saves in her streams to watch out for positions where I can really take advantage of. Like, I know Reef's Bridge and going right on Piranha Pit around that area. So yeah, I'm keeping an eye out for spots where Hydra really excels and where I should try and help, where I should try to get my team's help to position that.
And this to be clear is the person I am criticizing the very least about what's going on right now is you. The person I am criticizing, because you're on the tower right now. The people that I'm criticizing the most are the front line. Because
no, I'm not. I'm just saying that I'm trying to like take these things to
Just
trying
making
to figure out where I'm the most helpful on things compared to.
And that'll be a process of discovery, and it'll probably be different for you than it is for Devi. Devi might be able to suggest some spots where you're like, that works for you, that doesn't work for me, and that's fine. Devi does take some weird positions, and that's something that like. That's a part of her playstyle, and that's something that is cool about her, but also something that isn't everyone's cup of tea. And, you know, there are different situations where that might not be a good thing. But I digress. The point that I'm trying to make here is that, in general, you know, taking height advantage out of the equation entirely, what you need to be doing as the front line, your job is to be the vanguard, to clear the way in front of the tower. Tower control is this beautiful mode where you know exactly what is going to happen. The tower is going to be on this exact line 10,000% of the time. It will never not be on this line. You have the most linear, obvious path for the objective out of any moving objective you could possibly have. So what this allows you to do is plan. When the tower is here, because it will inevitably be there while we are pushing, what do we need to keep control of so we can protect it? And the answer to that question is you need control of this area. You need to make sure that nobody is able to just freely walk onto wall here. And you need to make sure that nobody is flanking from this general area here. With the front line in these positions right here, none of that is going on. You are not protecting the tower in any meaningful way. So just like draw circles around the tower sometimes and think, how do we keep people out of this area? Well, we keep people out of this area that I'm shading here by already having won a fight, painting up mid, and being in the process of pushing ahead. Because if we're, forming this perimeter that protects from the enemy team ever getting out this far, we don't have to worry about that stuff behind us, ideally. So really what we're focused on is if Ashik is on the tower here, we need to keep this perimeter here. And look, this area, beautiful overlook from this perimeter. This area is a beautiful overlook on this perimeter. That's why I'm saying that we need to be pushing up, because we're not on this perimeter as the front line right now, and we need to be in order to keep the tower safe. This is directly from FLC, by the way. If you go and watch FLC's, so I'm _FLC on Twitch. He is the premier Western Splatoon analyst, and he knows it. And so, he can have, it can come across as a little condescending sometimes because he gets frustrated with even the best players in the world because he just knows better than them. But take him at his word. He is one of the best analysts out there. And watch, he has highlighted, there are 6 videos, I believe, just introduction to fundamentals, just fundamentals of playing the game in general. And then he has one for each mode, and I forget what the other one is off the top of my head. But just like click highlights on his stream, Control F, fundamentals, and you will see him drawing these exact kinds of perimeters that I am drawing here, because I am cribbing from him. He is the one who came up with this. I am not the theorist behind all of this. But so all of this is to say we need to push and take this area in particular, and the frontliners should always, always, always be ahead of any push on a moving objective map. You never send your power clam in by itself. You never send the Rainmaker in first. You never push the tower into the enemy, checkpoints or whatever without frontliners ahead of it. If you end up in this position like we see on the map right here, where the tower is ahead of any frontline support, the tower is completely unprotected. Now, North might be able to do something like push around cut here and be in a position where they're helping. They might be able to, push in front of the tower before anyone who is spawning is able to get into those positions. I think you guys do start to move forward a little bit more here.
They do have
but this is a very long time that Ashik, the Hydra, is frontlining. Do not frontline your Hydras.
Yeah, Debbie pointed out in one of the earlier scrim matches when I was playing E-Leader that I was taking the tower without a path for the tower, and that was something I had in mind going into this match. Is that because I play a little bit recklessly in ranked, and it's something I have to work on. So just taking tower or taking objective in general when there is not a path to push it is. Especially tower, because I like to be on tower with my backliners. I like to think of it as I have this, and I can push people in front of me to help keep them back as I provide cover fire. That's the way I think of it. Kind of why I tend to take tower as backliners.
it's not a bad idea to take tower as the backliner. There are sometimes better ideas.
Yeah.
So like, this is something that in a coordinated environment you can work out with your, support player. You don't really, I guess Rubber is the most of a support player we can consider to have right now, but that's definitely not what the Bamboo really is. None of them are really like there to paint, there to spam specials. They're really all there to slay. So maybe that's a team comp thing. But what needs to be happening in general is you want to have a plan for who's going to be on the tower, and because there are some positions, like for example right now, if Ashik takes stacks up here and is firing out over plat, that's terrifying to deal with. So that might be, for this first checkpoint, you might want to get somebody else on the tower. And usually it's good to have a maneuverable weapon on tower so they can tower dance more effectively. Devi is an absolute monster at tower dancing with the Hydra. It's insane that she gets away with some of the situations that she does.
Oh yeah.
But it's definitely not ideal. It's definitely not the weapon that would be best at doing that. She would be doing that better on a junior, And so
I used to tower dancing with chargers and on Hydra. It's like I can't fire with this.
Right. There's an art to it for sure. But so you could be taking a position that might be more beneficial for some checkpoints and then jumping on it for others. There's often, with matches that Devi plays on the Grillers, there's often a point where she'll say, hey, Sam, take tower. And she'll swap positions with Sam. And Sam will be hovering over there, guarding a flank so that as soon as Devi does want that to happen, he's free to hop on and take that responsibility away from her. So how should this be looking? I'm actually not going to draw this out on the planner right now. What I'm going to do is let this play out so we see how it works first, which it doesn't. But then I'm going to show what the other team does really, really well on their next push. And I say next push, maybe it's later on, but... So you guys even get 2 picks now. So you guys do eventually get out in front of the tower. And Chibi, I really love this flank now that you're doing it. It takes somebody out while they're looking at the tower. It's a really hard flank to watch. You're coming up from an area that's already painted well your color. They see right now before you do this flank, this is still just as painted as it is once you actually go up there, right? There's no warning whatsoever that lore has when they're looking in this direction. Beautiful flank. You take them out, and in the meantime, North is able to use the Tri-Slosher being busted to take out Crumb. Okay, you've got 2 down. Somebody needs to get on the tower right away, and you, Chibi, and you, North, get up here and get in their way and stop them. Your attention immediately turns to where are the others. You know that this area right here is painted blue, so this is the new perimeter. The tower is pushed forward, that perimeter pushes forward with it. So where once it was enough to have this perimeter covered, now that the tower is here, you now need this perimeter covered. Maybe even more than that. So your job is, like, as the tower pushes forward, you two push with it. So that was a bad drawing. What you're really doing is this. And you're kind of... and that's also a bad drawing. So you're coming this way, and then you're coming this way. You're pincering whoever is here. And as soon as this is all cleared out, this is where I would be having Ashik jump off the tower, get over to here, maybe put, like, Rubber on the tower instead. And now Rubber has good sight lines out in this direction and in this direction. Ashik is holding all of this down, and the frontliners can be, like, up here. I've seen in competitive matches, Tina in particular, I'm going to call Tina out on this one because she is really, really good at being annoying. She plays the brushes, and she took an octobrush, I forget which one has beacons, but whichever one, up here into our literal spawn and put a beacon here, and then put a beacon here. And whenever she got splatted, she would just jump back into that. And whenever any of her teammates got splatted, they would jump into this one instead. And then all of a sudden there'd be an inkjet over the top. And we could not get out of our base. The lockout was so hard. You can set those up if you move fast and if you take the perimeters in front of the tower that you need to. This map can really snowball as soon as you lose control of this area. So the frontliners can be, you know, pushing up very aggressively to allow for this, but getting the Hydra into this position, that's your gold standard. That's what you want to be doing. So let's see what happens here instead. We get these picks, and then this is unfortunate. You know, Chibi just happens to be wrong place, wrong time. Brush drops down and takes Chibi out. I don't know what actually takes out North there, because North wins this fight. I don't know if there's like... Does the brush just get a double? What just happens there? I'm looking at the brush's KA in the upper left. Okay, yeah, the brush just gets both. So the fact that the brush got both means that you actually probably could have done something about it, because the brush doesn't have the fastest kill time. If Chibi damages the brush a little bit, then maybe North can follow up. Maybe someone can throw a bomb. Maybe Ashik can even provide some crossfire. So the brush kind of outplays there a little bit. But so this is unfortunate. It's 2v2 now, and if Rubber is in a position where they can enforce that perimeter, then they might still be able to hold this. But it's really awkward for the Bamboo in particular to do that. So I don't necessarily blame you guys for just trying to stall this out instead. I would say at this point, you've got frontline weapons that could get pretty close to you before you can see them. Maybe just drop back off the tower and give jumps to your teammates, you know? Get behind the stack and let your teammates jump in from here. We don't need to be pushing the tower. It looks like we try to do that, but somebody spots Rubber out and is able to take them out. So the brush gets a triple here. Anytime someone gets a triple, something went wrong in your micro game. Something went wrong in terms of aim or in terms of playing with your teammates, in terms of calling out an engagement. We should know by the time the first person goes down that there's a brush there and have an idea of what we're going to do about it. So unfortunately that happens here, and Ashik is forced to jump out.
That was decent, I think.
I will say it was decent up until the brush got the triple. Like I was saying, this sets you up in a really solid position. You had them down, at least 2 down, almost the entire way up there. And it was only that play by the brush that stopped that push. So, like, in general, that was really good direction for you guys to be heading in. It's unfortunate that it all fell away to do that play, and I wouldn't just discount that play and write that off like, that won't happen next time. You know, you gotta be, you know, doing the things to make it not happen next time. But generally, a really good start to some pushes there, and if those had continued in the way that I outlined, you're going in a really good direction. But here's what goes wrong in a very big way. So you guys have this all painted right here.
Better than Starfish.
You don't have this painted, so this might have given you a little bit more warning. You know, painting out this right-hand side makes it so that it's like vision, you know? I talk about this in terms of League of Legends a lot. For those of you who play MOBAs, the earlier you know someone's coming, the safer you are. And so if you spot this brush coming before they even get to the wall, you can be pre-firing them so they can't even climb the wall, right?
Sure.
But they do get up here. The wall is still painted. I would always paint this wall once I get a win on defense. I would always try to prevent someone from being able to go up there if I've ever got the opportunity to paint defensively. So maybe in one of these moments where Chibi's just, you know, sitting back here behind right stack like Chibi loves to do, poking fun. Maybe paint that wall. That is a useful thing to do. It makes them take a little bit longer. And maybe since it takes them a little bit longer to get up that wall next time, it gives you guys more time to spot them out. But they get up here. Now, when they have control, the number one place that you need to defend is, like I've talked about before, this area right here. You need somebody watching that at all times, because if you lose control of this area, you have no safe way out to contest the tower. So let's go back here and draw those lines again, but in the other direction, basically. So if the enemy team gets up here and establishes control of this position, where does the tower have to go? The tower has to go here, 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 here. this entire way up until about this line right here, the only place you can contest the tower from, literally the only place you will be able to shoot at it from with most weapons, is from this area right here. If you're down here, you're too low, and shooting up over the tower is going to be almost impossible. And if you have the range to do that, you're putting yourself in a really bad position to use that range. If you're up here, so let's undraw some of these lines. If you're in this position, this wall blocks your line of sight. If you're in this position, people are going to be shooting at you from tower and from other places. So that's not a super strong position to defend from. So you really do not have line of sight on the tower if you're, you know, stuck in spawn until it goes to like this point right here, at which point you've already given them like 25, down to 25. So on this particular map, if you lose control of here, that's really, really bad. And nobody even watches that area as Weeble the Brush pushes up into their bats. So like Ashik is down. Right as Chibi is like, Brush is on, Ashik's already dead. There's nothing we can do to stop Ashik from dying at this point.
Whoa! Let's go.
So we need to be watching that preemptively. We need to always have it as our plan on defense. The very first and most important area that we secure is this spot right here. So the Brush gets a pick. The Booyah Bomb is going to stop Rubber from doing anything about that. North and Chibi are out of range to do anything about Weeble. You guys are 2 down. And so now, where's the first place Crumb goes? Up onto Bats to help Weeble push up and clear you guys out of Bats more.
I'm low.
Weeble gets into a 2v1 and dies. They went probably a little bit more aggressive than they had to here. They probably could have waited for Crumb to push up along with them, and then this would have been even more effective than just trying to jump on you guys. So you guys do handle this fight really well. You isolate them. You know, the only way they're going to be able to push at you is if they push around cover, where you have cover from all of their opponents, all of the opponents who are going to be helping them out. But you're still at a numbers disadvantage because you already went 2 down. So now Lore and Crumb get around, and if Lore gets a wall up here, oh, you guys are losing this checkpoint. You guys are losing this checkpoint so hard as soon as a wall goes up from that. Lore doesn't get that, but does get a trade. And remember, a trade always goes in favor of the team that has the advantage right now. Tita is sitting on the tower. The only thing Tita needs in order to continue scoring points and make it harder and harder for you guys to win the game is absolutely nothing to happen for the status quo to be maintained. And the status quo is maintained. This is a 1-for-1 trade. That means they've still got a 3v2 against you guys, and you guys are still going to stagger in. North needs to not take this fight at this point because Crumb has range advantage. Crumb doesn't have numbers against them at all. They should just be kind of painting behind them, giving themselves a way out at that point. So unfortunately, North goes down as well, and the tower keeps on chugging along. Crumb is just going to waste your time here. Crumb is going to be a thorn in your side. They're going to be annoying. They're going to try to keep Tita as completely uncontested on the tower as possible. Here's what Crumb is doing from the map perspective up here. So let me get a CDS up on the map here. And I think they're playing the Dually Squelchers standard, but whatever, same difference. So Crumb's right here, right? And the tower, which is Tita on the NZAP, is... I hate that the NZAP blends in so well with everything else. It's just like gray. It's so hard to find on the map. There it is. Okay. So Tita's on tower here. And remember, Tita is moving in a straight line. This is that line, you know? Poorly drawn, obviously, but... So Tita's going to be on this track. And remember, Tita is not going to be contested from anyone in this area until she gets to about here. This is when Tita is unsafe. So what Crumb is doing is Crumb is saying, hey, you cut that out. If you want to get into this area right here, which is where you can contest Tita from, I am going to be shooting at you from a different direction than you want to be at. So you want, in this position, as the defenders, to be looking this way, but Crumb is saying, no, look at me instead, because I will shoot you if you don't. And so even though Crumb is at a numbers disadvantage, even though Crumb cannot necessarily push in this far, he's still defending the tower from people who are in this perimeter around it. So this is really excellent zoning play right here. Crumb is stopping Rubber from getting an angle on Tita from this direction. And I think Crumb actually gets the pick on them for that. Yes, that is exactly what I was just illustrating there. If you want to be in a position here where you have an angle on Tita, Crumb is going to stop you. That's what your frontliners need to be doing a lot more. They need to be stopping people from taking angles on the objective, so that the objective, the perfect game, the player on the tower gets 0 KA, or maybe like 1 because they helped win the fight in neutral. But they should be able to just get on tower and sit on tower and have very little else to do but paint and use specials. If that happens, that means that your front line did their job. And so now the tower comes around the corner here, where Ashik finally does have this line of sight on them, and now Ashik is able to clear Tita off the tower. So Tita probably pushed this a little too fast. Tita probably could have waited a little bit for Crumb and Weeble to get into more advanced positions and be able to defend that push. This is something that where you're thinking on the tower is, oh man, we're getting a bigger lead. It's always worth it for me to just stay on the tower because, who knows if I'll get these points if I wait. But once you see Hydra shots coming at you, you got to drop off the tower and stall it a little bit and wait to see if your front line can get in front of you and do something about it. Because I think, if Tita drops off here with 21 points on the clock, I think Tita not only survives, but potentially prolongs the push. Right here, if Tita gets off, if Tita sees like, okay, there's no way I survive this here with the crossfire that's coming in, I think that Boneless Children gets an even bigger push than they already get. Because they're at a checkpoint now, right? Getting extra points on the checkpoint is like, okay, whatever. Getting through the checkpoint, that is progress. So I would definitely be advising Tita here to stall a little bit, to step back a little bit. You're almost to armor. Maybe you paint up a lot of this green behind you and you're able to get to armor, and then you pop that armor and your frontliners go forward and clear all of this out, and that's even nastier than it already is. But Tita finally does get cleared out. Ashik gets missiled in this process, so... Yes, go ahead.
It looks to me that Tita does drop off the tower, but I splat bombed behind it and catch her in that.
Ah. Let's take another look there. I would say right here, Tita should already be dropping off. I think that is a bomb right there?
Yep, it is.
That is a bomb. Okay. So the bomb forces Tita into that angle. I still maintain that Tita could have gotten off earlier and not died to the Hydra. But that is a really good bomb by Chibi, and I like that you're also forming a defensive perimeter here. What you're doing here is you're making this little semicircle. And the nasty thing about semicircles here is that if you've got somebody here and somebody else here, this person's shooting from this angle and this person's shooting from this angle. So that's a perfect way to flush people off of this static objective. So I really like the defensive positioning that you take in this moment right here in the game. That's really good right there, because that means you have all this coverage, and it's really hard for any of the frontliners to kind of force their way in at this point. So missiles go out, which is going to take Ashik out of position, and I kind of want Ashik, like, I like it when a backliner tells you that they're being missiled so that you know they're a little bit out of position and they won't be able to, give you crossfire support. Right now, we're a little bit split about what we want to do. Chibi, it looks like, is trying to hold Plat, whereas North is trying to hold Bats. I would argue it's more important to clear Bats right now while you have the opportunity. So I would like to see Chibi jump over here earlier and start bombing this area out to kind of get it clear. And because now Weeble gets a single inkjet from this position, and now everybody's scattered. North is dead, I'm going to assume. I'm amazed that North didn't die there. I think Lore probably should have been able to kill them there. But now you guys have, you got those picks, you cleared them out. You have made no forward progress from before you got the pick. And now the rest of the enemy team is respawned. So they should, in theory, be getting back on the tower and restarting this push. Clearing this area out, though, if they try to do that, you have height advantage on them. You have this angle, you have this angle, you have this angle, all under your control. You've got a semicircle at that point instead of that like quarter circle we were showing before. That's a much stronger defensive position to be in. So clear this area out first. Prioritize clearing this out, because someone from down here, unless they run all the way up and around over here, they're not going to be doing anything. And with Ashik in the position she's in, she can just nail someone who's on this wall to that wall from a million miles away, and that's not going to be a problem.
Brush is low.
So we're now starting to push out this way. This is a great time for a booyah for them. And what I want to see from this booyah from them, I don't remember exactly where it goes, is I want them to throw this behind you. I want them to throw this like maybe right about here so that it forces you guys into their range at a time that you guys don't want to be fighting yet. I want it to be separating Chibi from North. I want it to be separating Ashik from North and Rubber. Like, I want this to be disruptive. Let's see if they accomplish that. They throw it too far behind, because there's actually, the only person there is Rubber, and Rubber is happy to walk forward a few steps. If they use this to clear Bats instead, and Weeble gets into position under here, that could be a lot more annoying than it actually was. Instead, you guys get a pick. Let's see if you can collapse on Weeble here.
Letting them get too much paint on us.
Yeah.
Though we're letting them get too much paint on us is a consequence of, number one, staggering a little bit. Like, going down will cause that to happen. Like, sometimes, it's not a paint problem. Sometimes it's not that you're in neutral in a 4v4 and you're getting up painted. Sometimes it's like, we're not painting enough. And the Hydra is like, well, yeah, because everyone's dying. 4 players will outpaint 2 players all of the time. It doesn't matter what weapons we're talking about. Give me 2 Luna Blasters versus 2 Arrow Sprays. Okay, maybe the Arrow Sprays outpaint them there. But, like, that's the extreme, So, like, sometimes if you see that the map is all the other team's color, that's usually, I would say, even not a paint problem. Usually that is we are losing fights, or we are not controlling the zones that we need to be controlling in order to be able to defend where we need to defend. And in this case, I would say it's that you're not controlling this area enough, which means that they're able to hold mid this entire time. The way that you kind of push back out as a team is, okay, we've got control of this area now. Okay, now we've got control of this area. Okay, now we've got control of this area, basically. Now we've got control of this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then you win the game. You're always expanding that zone little bit by encroaching on their zone, by throwing bombs to force them out of position, by splatting them, by painting over their territory, and that's how you kind of work your way forward across this map. It follows the tower path, roughly. And obviously, there are some positions that are more important to worry about than others, so it's going to take a little bit of a detour to go around here first before it comes back out, but it's all based on where the tower is. It's very, very simple. If you just think, where does the tower have to go? Okay, at this point, where is the tower vulnerable? Nice, you collapse on lore here. And Rubber being on tower, not the worst idea, although at this point, given that you don't have this position here, I would maybe try to back up to high ground if I have the opportunity. Maybe you can get a pick from here. I don't know. If Tita's firing up at you, that might be a problem, but those are hard fall-off shots for an NZAP to hit, so maybe you've got a 1v1 with the CDS. I like you just dropping back onto plat. I think that's smart. What we need to be doing here, though, is painting. You guys have numbers advantage. You have special advantage. Paint up. Start expanding that zone. Don't just try to dive into a fight in a situation where they have all blue ink. Just expand your zone. That's the default safe aggressive play that I've been talking about earlier Remember way earlier in the night when I was talking to Chibi about how you can just paint your way forward? Paint your way forward into this. Get vision control. If they start painting it back, be like, oh, hey, there's someone here. Let's get them because we've got 4 people and they're alone over there. But you've got to get vision of them first. Otherwise, you end up dropping into a bad kind of 2v1 here. And Chibi should die for that. Chibi does die for that. Rubber also dies trying to help Chibi, it looks like. They see Crumb over here. Tita is able to push and get Chibi before Rubber is even seeing that at all. Because, again, this is not painted. And now it's Crumb and Tita versus Rubber. North might be able to get a shot or 2 in here. They might be able to pincer Tita, but Crumb comes back into that fight. They're doing a better job of shooting at the guy who's shooting at your teammate, and the reason for that is that they have all the information. They have all the vision. Chibi drops into a 2v1 here before we know where anybody is, and they get ganked, and the whole fight goes downhill from there. Now you guys are 2 down. When you had 4 up versus 2, and you had 2 specials, you've now lost both of those specials, and they have the advantage again. So I like that North is now painting this up, but that is the paint that we needed to have before Chibi dropping into mid was ever going to be safe. I like the bombs. Putting them in front of the tower isn't going to be quite as useful. In this case, you want to put it on the tower. You might also want to put them, in the areas that the opposing team is going to try and push. So, like, on this path here is a great place to throw bombs. If I'm over here and I'm a short-ranged weapon and I'm trying to defend this, I'm just keeping bombs on this position the entire time. But I like the idea to be throwing them. This Booyah would accomplish something if they were trying to push the tower. I really think that's kind of a waste right now. They should probably just be saving that for... Well, they might be able to paint up for another one by endgame. Hard to say. What you really want the to do as boneless children right now is waste time and have a Booyah bomb ready as soon as the game is over. Because then you can just throw it on tower and you only need one other person alive to be able to run to the tower, and then it's game over.
Okay.
So by over pushing there at the end when they didn't have advantage, Boneless Children actually gives you a second chance to win this game. Now, it's really important for you guys to be rushing this Booyah bomb down and splatting it so that it can't end the game that way. There are a couple of specials in tower control that just kind of can end the game. Stingray and Booyah bomb. Maybe missiles to an extent. You put that on the tower and there's nothing the pushing team can do. And so there are times where you actually do need to just kind of hold forward like an idiot and go for that person to see if you can get rid of the special and prevent them from using it to end the game. But what we need for that to be happening is for people to be painting this area right here so that they can push out, and that's not happening right now. We have the best painting weapon using an inkjet instead.
One's going right.
And it looks like you're kind of going for it, but okay, nice pick from Rubber. Good follow up there. I like the rushing forward and getting aggression going in front of the tower because we need to be on the tower for the rest of the game now. And this is a pretty good coordinated push from what I remember. You guys pop armor and then you go over the top, and Chibi's going and trying to cover this. And we're watching and seeing that there are 2 people on plat, so we're focusing mostly on that. Like, everything's going really well here. This needed to happen earlier. Because this situation, is really hard to sustain. When they pushed in like this against you guys, they staggered the tower a little bit. They spent some time off the tower while they were maintaining this position. And if you had time to be maintaining this position, then this is a really, really good spot to be in, and you absolutely stand to be able to take lead. But the problem is that you need to have someone on the tower at all times. You cannot afford to have Ashik dropping off the tower onto bats to be taking this fight in a more favorable position, which might have won you guys the fight. But if you do that, you lose the game. So Ashik has to kind of stay there and die. And I don't entirely blame Chibi for not like backing up here and immediately being ready to get on tower, although Ash should be like yelling for that right now. Like, I'm off tower, somebody get on tower, somebody get on tower. Because Tita's a little bit zoned out here. Chibi might have been able to turn around and might have been able to get the 1v1 against Weeble and might have been able to keep on the tower and keep that against Tita. Maybe, if that gets called out and the information's there in time. But like I'm saying, this needs to happen earlier in order for you to really be able to get a strong push and take the lead back out of that. So let's take a quick look at KAs just to see. Oops. Notice, Crumb and Weeble, 2 highest KAs. Those were the players that were playing your bats. Those were the players that were sitting around after a push died, keeping you guys bottled up on your plat. That is the primary reason in terms of the macro game why you guys lost to Boneless Children in this game. Now, obviously, you know, Tita's armors are going to play a role in that. Lore, we talked about their Booyah Bombs. Some of those were really good and really did push you guys out of position and put you in range of their Slayers. But the Slayers were the biggest problem and the people that you need to be dealing with better in order to win this game. And so that was part of what clued me in to watch these players and see what are they particularly doing to get them these higher KAs and like higher KAs than their teammates. Because, you know, a 52 is a strong slaying weapon. And the Zap, okay, it rode the tower. That makes sense. But what are these guys doing? Why are these guys, you know, being as successful as they are? That's why that they're taking your bats and they're keeping you guys from pushing your zone of control out in front of the tower as soon as you want to be doing it. So it is about 10 minutes over there, but I think that that's a much better timed situation than we were in last time, at least. So thank you guys for being willing to put yourselves out up in front of, you know, so many people and be criticized, because that is, you know, always nerve-wracking and stress-inducing. So I appreciate you guys being brave enough to put that up there for us to watch. And thank you for, you know, your support of the stream, because you guys are, you know, I see all of you guys in the stream chat all the time and really appreciate you guys being here. So I'm definitely happy to give back a little bit.
If it weren't for Bravous, this team wouldn't probably exist, so we have to thank you too.
Appreciate it. So thanks everybody for watching. That's going to do it for Squid School today. Really appreciate all of you guys sticking around. If you ever want a VOD review like this one, it can just be for an individual. It can be for your whole team. It can be, you know, I can VOD review the other team that you played against if you really want to. I can VOD review your solo teammates. I don't care. It's content, right? Just hit me up on Discord. I'm going to put the Discord link in the chat here so that you guys can get into that if you aren't in there already. Hop in here and just send me a DM. I'm in there, I think, as Gem. Yeah, just Gem. I'm there at the top of the screen under the coaches label. I should be easy to find. Literally just DM me and say, hey, I want to do this, and we'll work out when we can schedule it for. So I can record for you if you don't have a recording device. If you do have a capture card, that's ideal. If you can video record your screen, that's the second best option. If I have to record it for you, it might mess up the camera a little bit, but we will still be able to see it from your perspective. And what we would do in that case is we would go into a private battle with other viewers, and we would watch from your perspective. You know, we'd spectate. I prefer to have you guys record it so that it's more natural which game you're playing in, so that, like, it's a ranked match, you know? All of the players are going to be at your rank. You're not going to be having to deal with Devi when you're an A rank player, you know? Or on your team, that too.
Don't the viewers all tend to skew X rank anyways?
Not necessarily. You'd be surprised.
100% me. Yeah, I'm totally X rank.
I said you.
I would say the people who watch Splatoon streams definitely skew towards S+ rank. I'd say that's where most of them are. But there are definitely people at all sorts of levels that you'll see all over the place. So anyway, if you want a VOD review, I don't care whether you have never played the game before in your life or if you're better than me. I am happy to give you my feedback on Obviously, take it with a grain of salt if you're better than me. But I would be happy to give you, my feedback as an analyst. So just hit me up in the DMs, and I'd be happy to make that happen for you. We are Bravous Esports. Our mission is to bring people together through video games. However, we happen to be able to do that, whether that's through Parks and Rec departments, businesses, schools, anywhere that people have a group, a population of players. We want to enable that group to bring those people together in a more effective way. There are a lot of schools who have teachers that are like, wait, what's an esport? And they're trying to put together these clubs for games that they just don't understand. And so we provide resources for that. We run events for those people. So that's kind of what our business is, and that's why we're out here. If you're interested in more about that, check out bravous.com if you want to book us for anything that you're interested in that respect. But for the time being, that's going to be it. I believe we do have Warzone Wednesday this Wednesday, don't we? Avery, you made the schedule. You would know better than I would.
We
sure do.
Yeah.
So tomorrow we'll have a guest. I think his name is Mike Lowry.
That's right.
With Kendra and Andy on Warzone Wednesday. So if you're into Warzone, come and check out that show. They talk about the trends with the game in general, as well as what's going on in esports there. So it should be a good, lively conversation with their guest on as well. But as for Squid School, we are every Tuesday from 3 to 5 Mountain Standard Time, or I guess in this case, 5:15 Mountain Standard Time. Sometimes we go a little over. Sometimes we go overboard, It happens. But I'm hungry, and I'm going to go eat. So I'm going to go and find somebody that I would like for us to raid. And then we will send all of the people...
Oh, my friend Boink is streaming. He's like a new TG Boink. He does Dead by Daylight, if you're okay with that.
I'm going to send people over to a Splatoon streamer.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Sorry.
But no, I do appreciate the input. Like, we would definitely be happy to do that sometime.
He was watching the Squid School stream because I linked it. So.
Gotcha. Okay, but let's go and raid Rafa. Rafa is a nice, wholesome Luna Blaster player who is really cracked. They've hit like 2,600. They've been on some solid competitive teams, if I remember correctly. Really nice channel. I love sending people over to him. So away we go, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Class dismissed.